Hi, we marketers spend a lot of time making our brands visible. Before you do that though, make sure your brand is credible before you make it visible. What your brand stands for, your brand if you like, is important, but it's not important if you're not being considered. You need first to be in the considered set, or as I like to say, positioned in the category. In English, what people think about you doesn't matter if they're not thinking about you. And so we absolutely need to be positioned. But there's no point positioning around the wrong idea. Consider this. Let's imagine you're using all of the normal modern B2B marketing tactics. Create at least one great digital asset as lead bait on your site. Add great trigger campaign for those who want to download that lead bait or that asset. And then email your list, the list that you already have, which you're probably going to invest in building occasionally to promote that asset. You'd be blogging at least once a month. I think weekly is about the right frequency, but certainly no less frequency than a month, about some of the elements that you tease out from that asset. So think about the asset, what are all the stories it's telling, and tease out one of those elements into the blog, and then use that to sell the asset itself. Send that blog, that weekly or monthly blog, to your email list, post it on socials, retarget visitors who've been to your website using both Google and the social retargeting, and display advertise to your demographic and to your email lists. In other words, you're going to be really visible to your target market, perhaps invisible to people outside of your target market, but super visible to those who are in the target market. So clearly we want to be positioned with that target market, but what else? If you do all of those things, the asset, the email trigger campaign that follows the asset, the blog that leads to the asset, the social posting, the online advertising, etc. If you do all of that, what lasting effect do you want to have? Of course you want to be in the considered set or positioned in the category, and so talk about the topics that matter to that category. Certainly that, but is that all? Or do you actually want to shape what the market thinks it needs? Think about these things. Why the market needs you, when the market needs you, and what they need when they go looking. Now, you're not going to try and say, here's why you need us, but here's why you need somebody that does something like this. Here's when you need them, the circumstances, the use cases. And when you go looking, you're going to need to have these characteristics. You'll need a supplier that does these things. That's your opportunity to create bias in the market. That's what we're supposed to do as marketers. So certainly we want all of that comms to position us, but we also want to shape what the market thinks it needs from anybody to our advantage. And so all of those tactics, again, the lead bait, the trigger campaign that follows after it, the blogs that lead to it, the posts on social, etc., etc., all of those things need to shape the market. That's what we should be doing. But shape it around what? Our tactics need to shape the market in some way that creates advantage for us. Now, what's that going to be? And that's the essence of the point I want to make today. The thing that we most want to focus on is the problem that you solve better than anybody else. Now, it might be that you solve it better because of some unique advantage, or simply that you've chosen to focus on it. It almost doesn't matter at this stage. What does matter is you know what that problem is. If the market's worried about this problem, then anybody can solve that problem. But if the market's worried about this problem, I'm on my own, and that's what I want. So when you think about all that communication, it needs to be playing a role in getting the market to understand that that is a real problem and that it needs to be addressed. Because if they have that problem, that's to your advantage. So all of your communication needs to be talking about that problem. And you can't work that out after you've sent the communication. All of this communication needs to have the effect of getting the market worried about that particular problem and to position you as the authority on that particular problem. And that's where funnel plan comes in. You need to get your whole team together, sales, marketing, finance and ops, get them together and identify what is that problem that we are uncommonly good at solving. Again, either because of some natural advantage or maybe because we've chosen to focus on it. I kind of don't care at this stage, but you do need to agree what that problem is. And there are some great tools inside Funnel Plan to help you to do that. And then work out the strategy that best makes sense given that problem. Which market most has that problem? What solution fully solves that problem? What channel's great at uncovering that problem? What competitors can also solve the problem? So you need to shape your strategy around that chosen problem. Hey, if you don't have a funnel plan, you can get a free one here. Go to funnelplan.com. In fact, do it now. Go and get a free one at funnelplan.com and see what I'm talking about. Go to funnelplan.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a little eye on your screen that you can also click, or just go to funnelplan.com. Get yourself a free funnel plan, get your team together and see what I'm talking about. Loads more lined up for you next week. Until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing. Our thanks this week to you for watching this week's show, to Elizabeth Pena for blog production, John Ang for video production. My name's Hugh McFarlane and it's been my absolute pleasure to have scripted and presented this week's show.